Hello, everyone. Welcome to the teen kickoff of our Henna Tattoo program. We are here with Amy Wilde of Castle Art, and we are so excited to start our fun tutorial workshop today with our henna tattoos. I hope you were able to pick up some of your grab and go bags with our cool henna cones and do it along with us. Otherwise, we have just a couple left at the library if you scurry on over. If you guys have a lot of fun making your art today, be sure to either post your photo in this link under our video, or you can share it on Instagram and tag the teen Instagram account. That's mpl.teen. Tag us, and then maybe you'll see your photo in one of our galleries on Facebook. All right, Amy, take it away.
Thank you. All right, thanks everyone for joining us today, and thanks for coming and picking up the henna kits. If we can, I will do questions and answer questions and stuff. If we can hold that to the end, because I might answer your question along the way. So we're going to get started with, I'm Amy, and my company is Castle Art and Import. LLC is the full name. I just tend to go by Castle Art all the time. I do a lot of events in the area. You probably saw me across the way for some of the night markets last year, and I'm in the Green Bay area, always doing henna over the summer and library programs and such. So I'm thankful that you guys are having me today. This is a new experience for me, so pardon me if I'm a little nervous, but we will get started. In your henna little mini kit, there was a lot of papers, and the first one we're going to go through is the how to make henna paste. So if you want to follow along, I'll show you, because this is usually the biggest question, because henna is very economical. A little henna goes a long way, and so if you can make it yourself versus buying cones, then it's very affordable. And you have to be careful about buying cones like at Indian grocery stores, because henna does not keep unless if it's refrigerated or frozen. If you get a henna cone that's been sitting out at like a convenience store or something, I would not recommend using it, because then it means it has some kind of chemical colorant or preservative, which can cause a very bad reaction. It's always best to use natural henna powder and make your own paste. You know what goes into it. And there's a lot of different recipes out there as well. So, and also to make a note, sometimes when you travel, you might see stands that say black henna. There is no such thing as black henna. Black henna is dangerous. It's paraphenylene-diamine, PPD. It can cause chemical burns and leave lasting scars. So you don't want to use black henna, it's not henna at all. So just always make sure, talk to your artists, make sure that they're using natural henna, and all artists will tell you exactly what's in it. It's not, it's not a proprietary blend or anything. It's, just, natural ingredients that you can get, at the store really. And if you need henna powder, there's a lot of online suppliers like myself that sell it as well. So anyway, we are going to get started with making henna paste. All right, so with making the henna paste, I always have a dedicated container with a lid, and you can get these at the store. And what I'll do is I usually make 100 grams at a time, because 100 grams of henna powder go with the 1 bottle of oil, which these bottles are about 10 milliliters, a third of an ounce. And that's all you really need. You can go up to a half ounce, just kind of on preference, like for consistency, but 1/3 to 1/2 ounce is all you need. Otherwise, it's just not necessary. So that's all you need to make the henna work. So you want to put the henna powder into the bowl. Now your henna, you don't necessarily need to go by color. You want to go by smell. So back in the early 90s, or the late 90s, when I started importing henna, we always thought the color meant freshness. Well, here to find out they're putting like food grade colorant into the henna to make it look greener. So you want to be careful with that. The body art quality henna will be this light talcum, light green talcum powder consistency. And if it smells like hay, it's good to go. If it doesn't smell like anything and has no odor and it looks kind of orangey, you might not want to. You might want to get another box that something happened, like the packaging got damaged or something, because it probably air got to it and probably pooped out. So there's different recipes out there. I tend to use the lemon juice recipe because if I make up 100 grams, I can freeze it. And lemon juice helps keep the henna longer. You can use water if you're sensitive to lemon juice. The key thing is if you use a water-based henna recipe, you want to use it the same day. The water activates it and gets you dye release right away. And then you can freeze it, but I find that it doesn't keep as well as if you use the lemon juice. So I use just regular lemon juice concentrate, and then I add enough lemon juice to make a real thick paste. So I will do this in little spurts. Let me move my mask out here. And I always recommend keep a little, if you never made henna paste before, just keep a little reserved in the powder, because if you have too much liquid, then you can add more powder to the henna paste to thicken it up. Or, because you can always add more liquid, lemon juice to it, but it's hard to go back unless you have another box of henna that you can thicken it up with. Because if it's too thin, it's just gonna run everywhere. So I keep on adding lemon juice, and it's approximately about a cup. But you wanna, maybe start off with 3/4 of a cup and then kind of work it from there. I've been doing this for so long, I just kind of eye it up. I just keep mixing until I get a real thick paste, kind of like mashed potatoes. And you want to make sure all the light green parts are covered and well incorporated. And then just make sure it's all, you don't want it too thin with the lemon juice right now, because it's I do this in steps. I do it in steps over 2 days because I find that it gets really smooth and creamy. You can do everything all at once, but then you run the risk of having like little lumps of cottage cheese consistency. But you can, if you have a hand mixer, that helps too for doing it all at once. So this is about the consistency that I get, like real thick mashed potatoes. And then what I do is I will cover it and leave it sit for about 8 to 10 hours. And what is happening is that the lemon juice is working with the henna and you're achieving dye release. And the dye release will look like this. So what happens is that it will look darker over, and then if you just take a spoon and go through, you see it's lighter underneath, you have achieved the dye release, and then you're ready for step 2. And I'm just, scrape this aside, you can see like that. It's lighter green on the top, on the bottom, and then darker on the top, because you've reached dye release. So this is still a little on the thick side. So after the 8 to 10 hours of sitting in the lemon juice, or with the lemon juice, I will add my oil. And this is Eucalyptus globulus. It's high in monoterpene alcohols, and monoterpene alcohols help make a darker staining paste. You can use lavender, cajeput, those work great. Tea tree works great, and I tend to use tea tree in the fall because bugs hate tea tree, so the bees stay away. So you only want 1/3 ounce, 10 milliliters, 1/3 ounce, no more than 1/2 ounce, because you have to realize that essential oils are endocrine enhancers. They can mess with hormones, and your signaling. So you don't want to overdo it. And after, between, 10 milliliters, 1/3 of an ounce to 1/2 ounce, that's all you need. You don't want to overdo it. So I mix the oil in, and I get it well incorporated. And then I will let it sit for probably another 8 hours. The very last step that I do is adding some sugar. Now the sugar is important because what happens is sugar is a humectant. It pulls in the moisture, so it slows drier, and it also helps it keep to your skin a little bit longer, because the longer you leave it on, the darker your henna stain's gonna be. So sugar is important. There's times that I forgot to use sugar, and what happens, it dries and falls off the skin like almost immediately. You can put a sealer spray on to keep it on your skin longer. I tend to do both, just so all bases are covered. So this is close to the consistency that I want. The last step is going to be adding the sugar. And I use anywhere between a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons. It kind of depends on the humidity. If it's really humid out, I'll probably only use 1 tablespoon, because otherwise the sugar will, with the humidity, it'll be a slow dry, or it'll dry very slowly. But on average, I'll use 2 tablespoons of the sugar. And you can use fructose, dextrose, terabinol sugar. They all work great. This happens to be dextrose. And I mix that all in. And this is actually pretty close to the consistency that I want. It's kind of like you just want it just falling off the spoon. And that, for me, I find that is the perfect consistency. Some people like a thinner paste. Some people like a thicker paste. It's kind of a preference. But this is about the consistency that I like. It works great for me. So, and then I'll put the cover on it and let it sit for a little more time. And then what I'll do is I'll cone it up into these carrot bags, which are very convenient. This is about the 1 box of henna made up. It will yield about, I'd say about 18 to 20 cones, depending on how big or small you like your cones. And so what I do is I'll just take a glass and I'll take the carrot bags. Most of the henna kits that are out there, like this one, will have these little carrot bags in there. And you just put them in like this, so you can have the opening. It just makes it easier for spooning in the henna. And you just pour it all in there. And you can freeze the henna. I use a lot of henna, so I just fill the carrot bag. But if you're gonna just use it for personal use, what I recommend is just freezing it in small batches. Because then the small batch, if you refreeze, you can freeze and then refreeze. It's good for a couple times, but then after maybe the 3rd or 4th refreeze, it might show a little demise in the stain. So then, I'll just twist the top and put the little thing on and twist it on. And I put it in the sleeve to keep it kind of protected. So this is the henna that is ready to go. So I will show you how to fill cones. So in your little kit is a piece of cello. And this is going to be a little kind of hard to show, but I do have a video of this process on my Facebook page and web page. But I will show you what to do here. Sorry, I'll take the glove off for the tape. So what I'll have you do first is try to roll the henna, or the henna cone, sorry. So what I do is, so you kind of hold it right here, and then you take the bottom part and you just kind of slowly roll it. And you kind of hold the tip in place as you roll it. And then you can kind of tug on this little lip down here to tighten it. And then you roll it like that, and you have your henna cone. Now this usually is the hardest part of the class, is rolling the henna cones. A lot of people struggle with this. If you ever catch me at any of the shows, I can always show you how to roll it. But the video is very helpful, and there is a lot of videos out there on how to roll henna cones. I'll do it one more time quick for you. And a lot of times, I'll show you with the tape as well. I just kind of hold it and then just roll it Just continue and just kind of hold it in between the two fingers and then slide it like that so you get the tip. So when you're ready, after you practice a few times and you want to give it a try to tape it, what I do is I'll take a little piece of tape and I'll put it in the upper right corner for me. If you're left-handed, you could probably do the opposite. And then do the same process and roll. But then when it comes to the end, you have your little tip right here, and you just put your fingers out, and the tape falls onto itself and onto the cone, and you have your henna cone. So there's that. And then for filling the henna cone, I'll just kind of slice an edge over here, and then you have the thing here, and you just kind of use this to fill. And you only want to fill it about, I'd say, 2/3 of the way. If you overfill, it's going to shoot out the corners. And sometimes that happens, you think the cone is bigger than it actually is, and you overfill. But this is about how much you want to fill it. And then what I do is I'll take the tape, and I'll put it around this outer edge. It might be kind of hard to see, but it's on this edge. And then I pinch it together. It almost looks like an envelope here. And then I'll roll it down, and I'll roll it down, and then flap one side in and one side in, and then roll it again. And then take some tape, and then just tape that way. Sorry, it's kind of getting all over the place. But then you have your henna cone. So, all right, and then I always put the thing back in to kind of keeps everything nice and neat. So now in your kit, the next part, you should have a sheet that kind of looks like this. Now, if you have a sheet protector, you could put a sheet protector over it. Then you can kind of reuse the sheet to do drills and practice as well. But if you don't, that's okay. Practice as well. There will be a PDF download shortly onto my website that you can re-download this at any other time. So let me just get my glove on here. So what I'll have you do is with your practice cone, they should be kind of swirly, either swirly green or swirly pink. Pinch the edge of your cone and massage it a little bit, just in case if it's separated from yesterday. And then there should be a napkin in your kit. And then what I would do is just kind of put the cone down and kind of quick do this and pinch the edge, so any dried up parts of henna that got in the tip will come out and it'll be easier to draw. So I apologize for the glove. Okay, so you want to take your henna cone and just start out drawing the lines. Let's grab this one. And if you have a hard time still with henna coming out, just kind of give it a couple pulls. And if it's still being difficult, just take a scissors and cut the edge. So you want to just start following the lines and practicing. And they might seem kind of thin and close together. That's okay. And you want to practice when you do your lines, do right to left, left to right, top to bottom, bottom up, all different directions. And that will help you in the long run for, doing henna designs and stuff. Because you might need a different angle if you're doing a leg versus a shoulder or a hand or something. And then just kind of keep going with lines up and down as well. So I tend to hold my henna cone like a dart. Sometimes people have a hard time holding the henna cone, and it's understandable because you're not used to it. It's kind of flimsy and stuff. Some henna kits, like mine too, will have silk painting bottles, jacquard bottles. These are great. They're kind of like drawing with a pen, but your wrist will give out eventually if you do a lot of it. It's a little stiffer. These are very subtle. And then also in your kit too is a little binder clip. As your henna winds down, you can put the binder clip on the end, and that keeps it really tight, to keep it tight in here so it's easier to squeeze. So you want to practice your lines, and do, the swirls, the zigzags, the circles, the dots. And a trick for doing the dots is that you just kind of want to set your cone down and then just give it pressure, pressure, pressure. It almost looks like a Hershey kiss. And then lift up, and that will make little perfect round dots. And you want, practice the sizes, as well. And one thing you see a lot into with designs are like the humps and the bumps, or lumps, So, and you practice those, just kind of try to, go slow, and, speed will come. It's best to try to keep with the line, and then speed will come. And you don't really need to be fast at this. It's a fun art form, and you can explore and, try different things and take your time. There is no rush. So just practice the humps and bumps as well. And another thing too with the, you can do is get some graph paper and go to Kinko's or FedEx. They usually have, or if you have a laminator at home, these are great for practice boards as well. So, and the graph paper helps with your spacing. So, one thing I'm going to show you is kind of to do a vine. So I'm going to just make a line onto the paper here. So you can just see it's a simple little line. And then what I do a lot of times, I'll make a little dot and then drag it in to make the vine. So dot, drag in, dot, drag in. And then the second part is going back, and on the top of the dot, just pull out. And it gives you these little juicy little dots and, stuff. Another thing that you can practice is swirls. And with swirls, I tend to go into I make a circle and then slightly go in from that circle and make the dot. These are all elements in a lot of traditional designs. A lot of times they'll be called fills. You can make designs like geometrical designs on your hand, and then in each little section, do a fill. What's on my hand on this side is a Moroccan Style Farsi. This one was done a couple days ago, or like 2 days ago. It will get a little darker, but the key thing is you always want to do lines and double lines. And you can see where zigzags, lines, little dots, all the elements of a great little design. And if you practice those elements, you can like mix and match and make your own designs as well. And then this one was done on May 30th. So you get longer life on your arms versus your hands, because with hand sanitizer, washing your hands, which you should do, your hands won't last as long. So just keep that in mind. You'll get a long life of design on your arms because we want you washing your hands. So another thing that you can practice too, one of the other sheets in there is a sheet with like turtles, flowers, So you say you might not be able to draw very well. So what you can do is just cut out one of those designs, and you take your henna cone. Oh, this up. So you take your henna cone and you lightly outline the design. And this can be done with like anything. If you have something on the internet that you like, you know, and you want to do that in henna, just print it off and just start outlining the design. And also too, what I find, if you go online and say you want to do a dragon, and so there's tons of images of dragons out there. What I would do is look up dragon, but look up line drawing, and then you'll find like the outlines, and then you can fill the dragon with scales or fire, you know, or little humps and bumps. So you just outline the flower just ever so lightly. And this works out great too if you want to have the same exact flower like everywhere. You can make little stencils like this. And then what you do is just lightly put it on your hand. And it'll give you a general guideline of where to go. See? And then you go over the design. And you can fill that, do the humps. And then a lot of things that are with henna are the vines and the swirls, and you can just start doing that. And remember the dot, pull in, dot, pull in, dot, pull in, dot, pull in. And on the other side. And say I didn't make the dot very big over here, so I'm going to go back and dot these. Because then when I pull out for the leaf part, it'll be nice and thick and juicy. I'm going to go back. And then dots are your friend in henna. And this is just a very simple, basic, quick little design to kind of give you an idea. So from here, you want to leave this on, and in about 15 minutes, your design will be kind of drying and look kind of leathery. And that's where that little bag with the 2 cotton balls come into place. That is the Aftercare. And a lot of times if you saw a henna booth, they'll have like a little spray bottle. But with the way things are now, we're giving away little cotton balls with the sealer spray in. So once this is dry a little bit, you just take the cotton balls, you know, that has the sealer solution on it, and just dab it lightly after it dries a little bit. Now to make the sealer solution, all it is lemon and sugar. And what I do is I really just take literally a packet of sugar and I pour it into the little sprayer bottle. And this is for good when you're, you know, at home with you're doing the henna kit. And you pour that in. And this, I believe these little packets are only like a teaspoon. And you just put it in there. And then you add some lemon juice. And if you're sensitive to lemon juice, you can use water or rose water. And just fill it to the top. A little bit extra so when you shake it up, it has some room to move around. Oops. And then just put this on top. Shake it up and you have your sealer spray. But for your little mini kits, it's in your pack or in your in that little kit or in the little plastic thing. So another thing you can do is at Michael's or a lot of craft stores, they have these wood forms. These are great. You can just outline. You can outline the animal or shape in the area that you want, and then you can fill it with humps, bumps, lumps, flowers as well. And then I got one of these. You can make the little Moroccan designs and stuff. So it kind of helps with a guideline. There's just tons of things you can do as far as stencils and things to help you, make the henna designs that you like. So from here, I think I will answer any questions that come across. I'm not sure if you have any. So if there have any questions, now's the time.
Well, I'll ask some questions that may just be burning a hole in some viewers' mind.
Okay.
That is, how did you get started with henna?
I got it back in 1996. I was looking to open a little import shop, and that's how the name Castle Art and Import came about, because the building was old Victorian. It looked like a castle. And I was looking on different web searches for things to have in the store, and I came across henna that they were doing in India, and I'm like, that is so cool. So I started importing henna from India, and then I moved to different countries. Right now I just have henna coming in from India and Pakistan. But back then I would have henna from all over it. But it was such a niche-y thing at the time. The retail shop didn't work out, but I put henna on the internet, and it just took off from there. It was such a niche-y thing at the right time, So I supplied a lot of artists back in the early 2000s. Now more with FedEx and DHL and all the shippings, it's easier for artists just to get it directly, which is the common thing to do, because shipping is so much easier now, because before it was had to come in freight by air, and I had to get a custom broker and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it started. Is just kind of a niche-y thing online from the shop.
Very cool. And do you have any tips for people who have shaky hands?
Yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with the flat toothpicks or the craft sticks. So if you get a shaky hand, like I have to admit, I'm a little nervous, so I was shaking. But if you make a line and it's kind of wobbly, just go right next to it with a craft stick and scrape it in, like scrape up or scrape towards you, and that will smooth out the line.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Following up with that, is there any way to kind of erase what you've already done?
Yes. So henna needs a little time for it to keep. In your little kit, there's an aftercare instruction. And basically the aftercare is you want to leave it on as long as you can. Avoid water on it until the next day. So that being said, if you only put a design on and it's like, say I don't like this, I could wipe it off, which I will do, and I'll show you. And it might be a little light orange. You might see it a little bit, but it won't stay, because you need some time on the skin for it to sink in and sink into your skin cells. So I can wipe this off and just put a little water on it, and it won't take.
Oh.
So it'll be so it'll look kind of orangey, but the stain won't take because it didn't have enough time on the skin.
Oh.
So I can start can just like do something else. So.
Perfect. Well, Melissa's in. I know she's asking any tricks to get straighter lines. We have gone over the little toothpick and art sticks and some stencils.
Yes.
But any other tips?
There is. So there's a technique called draping, and I'll try to show you here. So what you do, gravity is your friend. So you anchor a line. You anchor a line kind of like here, but then if you lift up and let it fall naturally, and it might break, that's okay, but if you let it fall naturally, gravity is your friend, and you can get straight lines. And you just kind of let it fall. And this is a great way to practice. And the line may break, you just have to go slower if your line's breaking. And I'm a little nervous, so I'm a little kind of, but you can kind of see that draping technique allows for a straighter line.
Oh, very cool. I'm definitely learning a lot. So thank you so much. Do you have any shapes you really like to do that are kind of your signature?
Shapes not so much, but I really like doing anything floral because no two flowers are the same, and it really gives me like artistic license, you know, to, I mean, I could just fill up, you know, just flower here, flower here, flower here, you know, and I can really fill up, you know, design. So I really enjoy doing floral stuff.
Amazing. We do have someone saying thank you. Brandon, thank you as well for watching.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right. But of course, we want to know more about where we can find you and other resources from you.
So my website is castleart.com, and it's all in the kit, the little sticker on the kit. The materials has the website. You can order on the website, but I will be, once the Manitowoc Night Market starts up again, I will be down there and I will have supplies available. So if you, I guess what I'm saying is like you can use the coupon that I put in your kit, or if you need supplies and you don't want to pay shipping, I will be down in Manitowoc on Wednesdays for the Night Market 920s once they start up again. But the coupon code helps too with shipping on the kit. So I have the mylar, I have, you know, the henna, I have the oils, everything, extra carrot bags, you know, if you want to get them by the dozen. I have everything you need to do except lemon juice and sugar that you get at the grocery store that are on my website. So
I know I love following people on social media. Are you on any of the platforms?
Yes, I am on Facebook under Castle Art, and you'll see a big henna flag as my icon. And then I'm on Instagram as Castle Art Import, all one word. So at the time, I think the ampersand wasn't working on it. So just Castle Art Import is the Instagram handle. So
amazing. Thank you so much, Amy. This was so cool to watch.
Yeah. Oh, no worries. And yeah, if you have any questions, you know, definitely, you know, don't hesitate. You can email me too. My email is hennatat@yahoo.com. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions or?
So far we don't have any, but we'll definitely keep answering.
Yeah.
As long as you're around, we'll definitely type it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question over here. What is the difference between non-staining cones and staining cones?
So the non-staining cones is just henna and water. So they won't stain your skin it's just for practice. It's the essential oils and the lemon juice that really, well, the water works too, but it won't really stain the skin. The essential oils really help facilitate the henna going into your skin. Because what happens is that when the henna is sitting on top of your skin, it's penetrating those skin cells. And when the paste is on, it keeps penetrating into the lower levels of your upper epidermis. And the henna penetrates down to that lowest level. And once the paste comes off and then the air starts to hit it, it starts to oxidize. And that oxidization is where you get the stain, because it takes 2 days for it to darken completely. So once the paste comes off, the air starts to hit it, starts to oxidize. Now, mind you, if you put the non-staining henna on and you leave it on for 24 hours, that would be enough time for the henna to penetrate all those skin cells. But having the essential oil in it really speeds up the process. So you can leave it on for just like 4 hours, or even less. On warm days it takes better on warm days, but it allows for less time for it to be on your skin to stain well. So and that just applies for the skin. So if you do get henna on like a rug or piece of fabric, get cold water on it and it'll wash out. Same with the staining henna. If you get it on fabric, put cold water on it, wash in cold, and it should come out. So I hope that answers your question.
That's amazing. It's like having a professor and an art teacher all in one. We do have one of our top fans saying, "Great job, Amy."
Oh, thanks. I was so nervous.
You're doing great. We couldn't have done anything close to that. So thank you guys so much. Fans, keep on asking questions. I think we have one more.
Yes, we do. How long are the tubes good for?
So the staining henna cone that was in your kit, if you don't use it all today, because a little bit goes a long way, you can refrigerate it for a couple days. If you're not going to use it within a couple days, stick it back into the baggie, seal it, and put it in the freezer, and then just take out when you're going to use it again. However, when you freeze it, make sure you pinch the end and then massage it a little bit to reincorporate. And if you still have your pin, I'd stick the pin back in there and then freeze it. And just give it a little massage. The key thing is just take it out, let it warm up to room temperature naturally.
All right.
Good questions.
Thank you again so much,
Yes.
Amy. We'll be sure to keep you updated on questions and keep posting as long as people ask.
And I will check the Facebook page, and this afternoon, if you have any questions, ask them, and I will respond to them, this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you so much once again. Yay, Amy.
Thank you.